and Technology, Qatar. Presently, he is professor in the Department of Power Engineering at the University. He has authored as well as co-authored about 100 research papers and 5 books. His current research interest includes renewable energy integration issues in hybrid smart grid infrastructure, fault diagnosis and condition assessment techniques. Hello, good afternoon, sir. I'm just reading out your profile in proof. I'm almost at the end. Hello. His present research techniques include condition assessment techniques for conventional and renewable energy electrical equipment and advanced signal processing applications in power engineering. Hello. Good afternoon. Sir, your slide is not visible yet.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Good. And my screen, is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, lights are not coming.
Lights.
Lights.
Is this?
Yes.
It has come.
Yes.
Now is it okay?
Yes. Okay.
So tell me, when can I start?
Sir, you may start now. I have introduced you to the participants. All are here in the it's being broadcasted in YouTube. So most of the participants have joined.
Okay. Good. So good afternoon, all participants. At the beginning, I should thank Navamita and Narula Institute of Technology for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. Today, my topic of discussion, as I have intimated earlier, would be a roadmap for research in hybrid smart grid. By hybrid smart grid, I mean integration of renewable energy sources into smart grid. So before moving on to more details of the discussion, I want to make one confession, is that this topic of smart grid and integration with renewables, I'm not an expert on this topic, but in our Department of Power Engineering, Jadavpur University, we have started researching on this, and we are in the process of procuring the necessary laboratory equipments. So in the coming few months, we hope to build up a suitable laboratory where we can start working on this topic. So today I'll be discussing our research plan and what other people can also do research in this topic. So the contents of discussion today, I hope all are, since this is an FDP, all participants are teachers, so they are well aware of these renewable energy sources. So I won't be elaborating too much on the renewable energy sources. So in short, what are renewables? What are their different types? Then I will give a statistics on how the renewable energy sources and its usage have gained momentum globally and in India over the past few years.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Hello? Sorry to interrupt you. Can you be a bit louder? A bit louder, sir.
Louder. Work from home, children sleeping, can't be louder.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, so I'll be introducing ourselves to Smart Grid. And please interrupt me if something goes wrong. Smart Grid.
Sure.
And how is it, why is it called a Smart Grid and how does it work? And the major components of Smart Grid and how is it related to renewable energy and its sources. Then I'll move on to the integration process of renewable energy sources with the smart grid process, the challenges in the integration process, and how do we address those challenges. And finally, I'll throw some light on the future prospects and the research avenues. Now, as all of us are aware that renewable energy, which is also called a clean energy, is energy derived from renewable sources. By the word renewable sources, I mean the energy sources which can be replenished by nature on human time scale. Means within our lifetime, we can see those energy being replenished. Unlike in say coal, oil, or natural gas, which takes millions and billions of air to be replenished, say renewable sources like wind or air, so to say, can replenished hourly or even the next day morning. We can once again see the sun. So those are the renewable energy sources. The renewable energy sources that we are familiar with include the wind, the solar, the hydropower, the geothermal energy, the tidal energy, biomass, and some more energies. Now, why we are so excited about renewable energy recently, in the recent past, is that the natural reserves of conventional energy sources, so called the fossil fuel sources like natural gas, oil, and coal, they are rapidly depleting. So we don't know how long they will exist. Maybe in our lifetime we will survive, but future generations, we don't know what's going to happen to them. On the other hand, renewable energy sources, if we use them, they can provide us some sense of energy security because the solar energy or the wind is not going to be depleted very soon. Second point is the electricity generation from conventional fossil fuel based sources. They cause huge amount of environmental pollution. On the other hand, renewable energy sources are so-called clean energy sources. Third point is if I use renewable energy sources instead of fossil fuel based sources, the problem of procuring the fuel is almost absent. If I use coal or oil, the generating company has to buy that coal. Many times they have to import the coal, so that adds to the cost. But so far, on the other hand, the renewable sources like wind or solar energy, still they are free to us. If we look at the growth of renewable energy over the past few years, there has been exponential, even more, a tremendous growth in the use of renewable energy. Worldwide, if you see, I've tried to find out statistics over the last 20 years, 1997, 2010, and then 2008. The graph on the left-hand side shows the total installed capacity. You see how fast it has grown. And its two major components, like the solar and the wind, they've also grown by a large extent over the last 20 years. A very similar trend is visible in India's scenario also. The installed capacity, the solar and the wind, the growth is very high. So it's clear that the renewable energy is going to be play a big role in the near future of electricity and energy generation. Now that we are aware, the renewable energy sources are going to play a big role, but still in our day-to-day use, we don't use those sources. They're not as popular as we wished it could be, because renewable energy, when used standalone mode, is not that effective because it's not predictable. Solar, wind, they're not predictable and they're fluctuating. A solution to that problem can be achieved if we can somehow integrate the renewable energy sources with the smart grid process. Now, what is smart grid process? What is smart grid? As per the definition given by NSGM, National Smart Grid Mission, Government of India, which is a part of the Indian Power Ministry, as per their definition, smart grid is an electrical grid with automation, communication, and IT systems, in addition to, of course, the electric power, that can monitor flow of power from generation to distribution to the consumer, and even to appliance level. So a smart grid can monitor how much power your fridge is consuming or your AC machine is consuming. So it can move up to that much of depth. and control the power flow, like even it can curtail the load, means it can do load shedding to match generation in real time or near real time. So it's a very fast operating grid with a lot of sensors which can sense the flow of power and the associated operating conditions. Now, smart grids can be achieved by implementing efficient transmission and distribution systems, integrated operations of the system, then integrating the consumer with the supplier with the power system through power network as well as communication network, and integration of renewable energy sources. So this as per the official definition of smart grid by National Smart Grid Mission, Government of India. So pictorially, if we try to describe the smart grid process, we have this conventional generating station. Then we have different consumers like domestic consumers, industrial consumers, big apartments. We have got small houses, then load centers. So that was the conventional grid. There would have been a flow of power. In smart grid, as per definition, it includes a computer center which has got a lot of IT applications in it, in addition to normal load dispatch. Then we have integration of renewables like solar, like wind, like smart car or hybrid car systems. Then we have energy storage devices, smart home, smart buildings, and other loads. So all these components, when connected through power as well as through internet and communication network, builds a part of the smart grid. So a smart grid actually is not a completely new grid. So you don't have to be scared like what is a smart grid. It's an upgradation of the existing power grid that we have, which is equipped with fault anywhere. The smart grid will sense it and change itself accordingly, more efficient and more secure. Now, what are the features of smart grid? What are the expected features of smart grid? Very important feature, maybe the first and foremost important feature of a smart grid is its bidirectional flow of power and information. That sounds very funny though. Information bidirectional understood, we talk in mobile or in a phone, the communication is bidirectional. But bidirectional flow of power. So if I expand this, here the consumer can also supply power. In a conventional grid, only the generating system or generating station was supposed to give power to the grid, and consumer was supposed to consume that power. But in a smart grid scenario, with renewable energy integrated, we expect that the grid to be bidirectional, means the consumer does not have to consume power always. In fact, it can also even supply power to the grid. So unlike conventional grids, which are unidirectional, smart grids are bidirectional. Smart grids make the whole system more balanced and more flexible because with the addition of renewable energy sources to it, it can rapidly modify its generation level, or even it can modify the demand to match the demand and supply. That makes the grid more reliable, balanced. It gives the features, a smart grid gives the features of real-time monitoring, means all the time, a lot of sensors are put across the whole grid system, and it can give you in-house displays. I mean, there will be a display, there can be a display in your home which can show you how much power you're consuming, what is your power factor, what is the KVA, how much money you have already spent, if it's a prepaid meter, how much money is left, or even it can tell you when you are going to expect to have a load shedding. So when it's coming half an hour, you're going to have a power outage for 10 minutes. So quickly turn on your RO system. So quickly fill up your pump, right? Or quickly charge up your mobile phones. Through web portals and through mobile apps also, you'll be able to monitor your domestic power consumption or the power scenario. So that is one of the features of smart grid. Smart grids are expected to be self-reliance or self-healing, means it can diagnose itself. So they will have more sensors and advanced control systems and automated outage management system for faster restoration. So we have the experience of that Amphan. It took in my home, it took more than 7 days for the power to come back. So had that been a smart grid, it would have identified the vulnerable positions much earlier. And we would not have been through such bad experience. One of the greatest features of smart grid is the use of smart energy meters. So the energy meters that we have in our home today, forget the analog one with disk, even the digital energy meters that we have, they are not smart. So smart meters are advancements over those energy meters that we have, which are called smart meters. So we'll come into a bit more details of smart meters later on. So they are supposed to communicate with the grid in both way communication. So these are one of the features of smart grid that we have to include smart meters. So once we include smart meters into the smart grid system, we have the provision for dynamic pricing mechanisms. Means the electricity pricing need not be fixed. So it can be varied. It can vary during the hours of the day depending on the demand. So when the demand is low, so it will give you an indication that now the price is low and the consumer can use more energy. So they can give incentives to consumers to change their usage pattern during different times of the day. Smart grids, now we moving on to the actual thing of my topic. So smart grid will also facilitate distributed generation, means mostly integration of renewable energy sources, especially the rooftop solar generation. So this rooftop may be my house, maybe a factory, maybe some common place, by allowing movement and measurement of energy in both directions. So if I'm using solar power in my roof, I've installed solar panels in my roof, so I can connect that to the grid, to the smart grid. Whenever the demand is high, my demand is high, I can draw power from the grid, main grid. And when I have got excess power, I can feed back power to the grid from my solar energy system. So a smart grid will allow that kind of both way distribution of power. So by allowing movement and measurement of energy in both directions using control systems and net metering, that will help prosumers. So that's a new term coming in when we talk about renewable integrated to smart grid. They are called prosumers. That means a consumer who can also produce. So they can safely connect to the grid. So once we plan to move on to smart grid, so what are the benefits that as an user or even as a utility, as a generating company, what benefits they can get? One is reduction of transmission and distribution losses because of better measurement and control of power. So everywhere I can put sensing mechanisms so that any pilferage of power can be detected. Better peak load management, since the sensors act in real time and the control system are better analyzed by the use of IT and automation tools and control systems. The management of demand can be very fast, very accurate even. That will give us improved quality of power service and reliability. Reduction in power purchase cost, because as a consumer, I know when the power demand is high, when the cost of power is going to go up. So I will schedule my load in such a manner that I don't consume power when the demand is high or when the pricing is high. Better asset management. As the utility, as the power generation, transmission, distribution company, since I'm connected to smart grid, and I have the provision of monitoring all my devices, all my asset, all the devices can be better managed in terms of their condition monitoring, fault diagnosis, all this can be better done. Increased visibility of the grid and self-healing grids. So the grid system, you can see here if I expand. So you have the provision of fault indicators, transformer monitors, voltage regulators, circuit breakers, reclosers, automation, power factor correcting devices, communication networks, software analytics. So all these will add to the smartness of the grid. So that will have the provision of managing your grid against faults. So it has a self-healing effect, means it can diagnose itself and accordingly take corrective actions. And then comes the question of integration of renewable energy and access to the renewable energy when it comes to smart grid. So by the use of smart grid, use of smart meters, we include the options of TOU tariff, time of use tariff. The tariff will be varying depending on the amount of usage, and internet-based metering or smart metering. So that will make both the customers as well as the utility satisfied, both in terms of service and also financially. Now I move on to why do we actually need or think about integrating renewable energy into the smart grid? How and why do we plan to integrate? Now, renewable energy sources can be introduced at various levels in the grid. So you can have renewable energy generating stations, like we have conventional energy generating stations. We can have large scale generating stations, like a big solar power plant itself, if you have a big area, or a wind farm. Some of you who have traveled to Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, if you travel by road, you will see on the left side or right side of the road. So the desert area there are hundreds and thousands of windmills, wind turbines running. So that kind of you can have a wind power plant or solar power plant. So that's one option of connecting solar energy or wind renewable energy into the smart grid. You can have a second option, like if you are an industry, like say Tata or the steel industry or oil industry, where you have a big space. So all those industries, if they can be motivated financially, morally, if they can be motivated to install renewable energy sources like solar or wind in their premises, so say the shade of the factory. So if they can be motivated to start generating electricity through the renewable energy sources, so that can also be integrated to smart grid. So that can act as like a captive power source to them. So they can be connected to grid, main grid, so they can draw power for their operation. With renewables acting as a captive energy source, they can use that energy, and when they have excess, they can feed it back to the grid. So not only that power plants or industries can take part into renewable energy integration, me as a domestic consumer can also take part in the process. So domestic consumers with renewable energy generation modules may be installed in my roof or in my backyard can also generate power for their own consumption. So I can also use the solar or wind energy that I am producing while still being connected to the grid, right, for balancing if generation is inadequate. So if my generation is inadequate, I can draw power from the grid. And if I have surplus generation, I can feed back the power to the grid. The renewable energy sources, as I mentioned earlier, the solar and the wind, they are fluctuating and they are intermittent in nature. So those are the two major issues of renewable energy sources. So if they're connected to the grid, those two problems can be very efficiently dealt with. Because if I rely only on solar, you can understand I can get power only during the day, unless I have a big storage system. So if I use such a system integrated with the grid, I have the option of grid power when I don't have solar, and solar or wind power when I have enough of them. So that is why standalone renewable energy generation means without grid connection, renewable energy generations are very expensive because it needs storage device. But when I integrate it to the grid, that will help ease the transition and may reduce the initial installation cost, especially at domestic levels, because certain features like storage will not be absolutely necessary in a small battery, small storage system, since I'm connected to the grid. Now, interdependence of renewable energy and smart grids. So what do I mean by interdependence is that now we understand that renewable energy alone may not be that beneficial, but it will be extremely useful if I connect it to the grid. So renewable energy needs smart grid. In the other way around, smart grid to be used to its full extent need renewable energy. So they are both dependent on each other for their full utilization. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Smart grid will give power from generation to consumer, and also it can get power from the consumer. So how is it possible to get power from a consumer unless I have the consumer generating some form of electricity? So there comes the solution of distributed generation. So this calls for distributed generation, which is only possible with renewable energy sources like wind or solar. So those kind of distributed energy sources, if the consumer can install, be it domestic, be it industrial, whatever consumer, so then they can take part effectively in the development of smart grid process. So that is how smart grid is dependent on renewable energy for its full utilization. Similarly, renewable energy is also dependent on smart grid for its full utilization. Because a major issue with renewable sources like solar and wind is the fluctuations and intermittent nature of this sun or wind. It's not steady throughout the day. So they are fluctuating and intermediate. So this necessitates the effective use of control techniques and better distribution automation. So automatically that will be controlled. Demand response means load balancing, and better forecasting means very fast and accurate forecasting about the solar radiation and wind prediction. So which are part of smart grid. So if they can be integrated with a smart grid process, which includes very advanced state of software and hardware analysis tools, control strategies, so they can give a boost to the use of renewable energy. With that kind of renewable energy sources and distributed generation coming into the grid process, and more consumers using renewable energy sources like solar panels and wind, there comes the need for smart metering, because the smart meter will not only find out how much power you're consuming, it will also calculate how much power you're giving back to the grid. And accordingly, it will calculate the power price, the energy, electricity usage bill. So, integration of renewable energy into smart grid require the use of smart meters, which are an integral part of smart grid, which is a feature of smart grid. A very interesting phenomena which smart grid offers us is the use of electric vehicles. So, though we have been excited about electric vehicles recently, but very few of us has actually seen, forget about getting into an electric vehicle, have seen an electric vehicle like a four-wheeler. Myself, I have seen only once while going from my home to my office. I have seen only one such vehicle. They're not that popular in India so far, but the future, as we know, is going to be that kind of alternative fuel vehicles. So smart grid opens the door to electric vehicles. So smarter the grid, more the use of renewable energy sources into smart grid, more will be the popularity of electric vehicles. So use of either plug-in type hybrid vehicles, so where you can charge your vehicle, or fully electric vehicles, no gas or no petrol usage, using concepts like V2G or G2V, means vehicle to grid or grid to vehicle. So directly you can charge from the grid implies replacing petroleum-based fuels with electricity. So when you have a smart grid integrated with renewables in your home or in your office, so there is a good possibility that you reduce the amount of uh, main electricity usage due to charging of your electric vehicle. So now if you want to charge your electric vehicle from a charging station, or plug it to your home, that will cost you a lot of electricity bill. But if you have the renewable energy sources, so you can use your vehicle to be charged from there, don't have to pay anything, so that the fuel becomes free. And also your car battery can be used as a storage. So many of us can remember the scene from the movie Three Idiots, where the car batteries were used by Amir Khan for performing a surgery. So that kind of concept will become more popular if we have the provision of renewable energy integration into smart grid. So hybrid vehicles or even totally electric vehicles will be more popular when you have the provision of smart grid integrated with renewable energy sources. So what are the major components of smart grid that relates to use of renewable energy? Power electronic devices, controllers. So smart grids are going to use a large number of power electronic devices for fast and accurate control. Smart inverters, so they can provide some functions that will help to accommodate renewable energy sources. Renewable energy sources like solar, they produce DC. So I need to convert the DC to AC of required frequency and voltage to be integrated with the grid. So the inverters need to be fast and intelligent, smart, because they have to predict and also they have to act fast. So the different types of control that is expected of those inverters. So this is also a scope of research going on, development of smart inverters for use of renewable energy with smart grid with different control features. Then we need to have improved converters. Converters means AC to DC, then DC to AC. If we talk about a wind power generation, which produces AC, but that AC is variable in voltage and frequency because the wind speed is not constant. So that variable AC, you need to convert to DC and then back to AC of desired voltage and frequency to be connected to the grid. So those converters also need to be smart and accurate, reliable, more efficient, less noisy. So those are all research areas, development areas where we can think about. Then we need to do research on advanced interfacing and control modules, sensor integration, IoT-based integration, control modules. So as I mentioned, the photovoltaic levels are fluctuating in nature due to solar radiation variations. So the interfacing modules need to be more proficient when I want to connect it to the grid. I cannot directly connect the solar panel to the grid. Solar panel will produce a 25 volts, 50 volts. So cannot connect it directly. DC, that to DC. Cannot connect it to say 415 volt or 11 kV grid. I can do that. So I need an interfacing device. Same with the wind speeds, wind generators, where the wind speed change. So to maintain the output voltage and frequency at a constant level to connect to the grid, I need power electronic based interfacing devices and control mechanisms. So this is how smart grid and renewable energy, they are interlinked with each other. The challenges that we face or the research avenues that we see when this process comes in. So I already started. India, as I told, there is a renewable energy mission under the Ministry of Power, which is looking into this. In West Bengal also, this process has started. CSC, Power Grid, even ACB, WBACB, they are moving towards. There are plants also. Taratala, there is a plant to produce smart energy meters. So this process has already started worldwide, definitely, and in India also. So there are some challenges which, as a researcher, we need our input to be given so that it can be better implemented. So there are various difficulties and challenges in the process of integrating renewable energy into the smart grid, and they can be classified as a technical, economic, social, and a mixture of this. So I'll be dealing mostly with the technical challenges and how to overcome those. The technical challenges that we face while trying to integrate renewable energy sources with smart grid is the process of interfacing. Because most renewable energy sources like the wind and solar energy cannot be directly connected to the grid. Solar energy, the voltage level is low and DC, and wind energy, the voltage is fluctuating in magnitude as well as frequency. Cannot connect them directly to the grid. So various interfacing technologies and power electronic components are necessary to maintain a constant voltage and frequency, and also other parameters to ensure a stable interconnection with the grid. So these interfacing devices are the scope of research and development. Next comes the process of planning and risk management. When I introduce these power electronic interfacing devices and control devices with the renewable energy, so those devices are mostly non-linear devices because they include a lot of solid-state devices. So when we integrate those kind of solid-state non-linear devices and control modules into the system, that will affect the power quality of the system and can hamper the stability of and efficiency of the system. So unless the planning and management of the risk is done previously, a priori, so directly blindly connecting them may hamper the operation of the whole grid. So that needs to be carefully studied. So there comes the second point, gives us a good scope for simulation studies before actual implementing. How will the stability and efficiency will be affected? Then comes the question of generation prediction, because the renewable energy sources are very fluctuating and variable. So it's not a fixed level. So accurate generation prediction means forecasting is essential. That will help them make the process more feasible. So I spend a lot of money in installing a solar power plant. I connect it to the grid, assuming that I'll get 100 megawatts of power. But suddenly a rainy day comes and I don't have any power. So those kind of forecasting or those kind of problems of generation fluctuation is there with renewable energy. So I need a accurate and fast forecasting system to make the process more feasible and the operation units easier and the grid be better balanced. So there should be a good balance between conventional source and the renewable sources or the storage system, so that the grid is more or less steady. Renewable energy sources cannot avoid the use of storage systems. So storage systems along with power electronic controllers, for those need to be incorporated in energy system due to the intermittent behavior of the renewable energy sources. But unfortunately, the currently available energy storage devices, which we commonly know as batteries, are very low in efficiency or they are very expensive. There is a good amount of research going on in developing new energy storage systems, new energy storage concepts, and new energy storage techniques that can go along with the renewable energy sources being integrated with the grid. Security and reliability of the grid, same problem. The renewable sources being variable and intermittent, their constant availability and wholly depending on them is questionable. So in such a case, keeping the grid balanced all the time, balance between generation and demand, ensuring the continuous and absolute adequate supply of power becomes a challenge. The reliability and security of the grid will still remain a challenge for us, for the suppliers, for the analysts, for the load dispatch center people. So how we can balance those? So how much we should allow the renewable energy to penetrate into the grid? So what share of renewable energy should be there in the grid? And accurate metering. With distributed generation being connected to the grid, it is necessary that the production and consumption are properly monitored and billed fairly. So as a consumer, I can always argue that, look, I have installed a solar panel in my roof, but still my electricity bill is not reduced. He told that you are going to buy electricity from me, but still my bill is not reduced. So those kind of ambiguity should be removed if I use a smart energy meter. So that should be transparent. So the metering system need to be accurate. So the development of smart energy meter is, if you go through, IEEE or even recent some literature, published literature, you see good amount of work is being done on development and manufacturing of smart energy meter, adding features to it. So these mandates the need of smart energy meters, which can ensure accurate billing and constant monitoring the production and consumption of electricity for better balancing of the grid. So possible solutions that we as a researcher can think about those technical challenges while we try to interface photovoltaic array, solar panel with a smart grid. So as we know, a PV array produces an output DC voltage which is variable in amplitude. That's because the solar radiation is not constant. So the power output level of those PV panels will depend on the weather conditions like temperature and available solar radiation. So the output is variable. So what can be done so that we can extract maximum output from a solar panel throughout the day when the sun moves, the solar radiation changes, the atmospheric condition changes, is by a technique which many of us are aware, I hope, these days, is called the maximum power point tracking, or MPPT technique. That's one of a technique which is used to vary the operating point in a solar PV array, vary even the inclination of the solar panel so that you can extract maximum power out of it. So those MPPT algorithms can be incorporated in the solar panel controller so that it is best utilized while being connected to the grid. So those are typical interfacing devices which include MPPT in it to extract maximum power out of a solar panel array most efficiently, can be either in single stage converters, two stage converters, AC to DC with MPPT controller, and then you can have a multi-stage converters. So those are also different topics of research where we can think of developing advanced controllers. Research is still going on, open area of research, MPPT controller, induction generators. Instead of permanent magnet synchronous generators, you can use induction generators where the rotor is connected to the turbine and the output from its three-phase stator is variable AC. So that variable AC is fast converted to DC using an advanced or intelligent controller and then back to AC at the desired voltage and frequency. So that's how we can try to interface the wind turbine with a smart grid. So the controller, and then you have the inverter, then the smart energy meter to be connected to the grid, and you can use it to your home also. for big wind generating systems, large wind turbines, a device called a doubly fed induction generator (DFIG) is used, where the stator means it's a slip ring or wound rotor type induction motor, where the stator you get the three-phase output from, and the rotor is also supplied from electricity through the slip rings. So the rotor gets its electricity from the grid through a IGBT converter. So that's it's called a doubly fed induction generator. So that can be used to produce the electricity in big wind turbines. So that also consists of a AC to DC and back to AC converter to make the output suitable to be connected to grid. So the next question, next challenge, as I mentioned, is the use of energy storage systems, because renewable energy sources being intermittent and unpredictable in nature, they need some amount of energy storage systems to make their availability more predictable or more reliable. So the energy storage systems can be either bulk or distributed, means you can have a big energy storage system which stores a number of renewable energy sources, energy from them, or you can have distributed energy storage where the individual energy sources, renewable sources, can have their individual storage devices. The distributed kind is more preferred because they involve less initial expenditure and the reliability is also higher. So the types of energy storage devices that are being used or under development. Predict or forecast the renewable energy availability. So 1 to 2 day ahead prediction, or even people are talking about 1 to 6 hour ahead predictions, where the geographical and the weather data can be used for forecasting the availability of renewable energy sources. And as we were mentioning, one good area of research in this topic is development of smart meters. So smart meters are crucial for making the grid bidirectional, power flow from consumer to generation, from generation to consumer. Whereas a conventional meter will only give display of how much units are consumed, but a smart meter will communicate with the grid. So meter not only communicate in terms of power, in terms of information also, it will communicate. So if you have a smart meter, you have an idea of how much energy you are going to use, or even if you're away from home, you can still keep an watch of whether any fan or light or anything is left on in your home while you're away. Smart meters can be used to measure the renewable energy output that you have installed in your rooftop for compensation control and planning. Smart meters will collect not only the active energy usage, that will also contain information on power quality, power outages, means how many times or when the electricity was off, the power factor, how much reactive power you are using. May not be as important as a domestic user, but industrial users, very important. And a watch on the grid voltage frequency. These are a few of the features of a smart energy meter. So these data, the smart energy meter collects and communicates with the grid, can be very effectively used for researchers and the utility R&D section for improving the renewable resource forecasting. So if they have record for the last 1 month to 1 year, how much renewable energy is available from different distributed sources connected to their grid, the utility can use those data for forecasting better distribution of generation and better response, demand response. Means they can predict what will be the type of load demand in future. One more technical challenge which I found very interesting in this regard is the prevention of cyber threats. When you have a smart grid which is connected to the internet, there is always a threat of hacking. So how to prevent or how to analyze the hacker's intention, the degree of hacking, and how to prevent those kind of cyber threats is also a very big area of research in this. So there can be a collaborative research between an electrical engineer and computer science engineer or IT people, where we can analyze the effect of cyber threats and how to prevent those kind of cyber attacks on hacking the smart energy or smart meter system. And as I mentioned, there are some financial challenges also if I want to integrate the renewable energy sources into the smart grid. Is firstly the cost. Of course, renewable energy with its storage devices is still not that cheap. It's costly. And when we talk about integrating those installation and those devices, interconnecting, interfacing devices, it's going to be costly. So those renewable energy sources, though they are cost effective in the long run because we don't have to pay for the sun or the wind, initial cost is quite high. So those costs, who is going to bear those costs? Like as a consumer and as domestic consumer, if the power company suddenly comes and tells me you install a solar panel in your roof and I will connect that solar panel to my grid, first question I'll ask him, how much will be the cost? So that cost is still one of the financial challenges we have to face. Then allocation of the cost means as a consumer, as a domestic consumer, how much do I have to pay, and how much do the utility of the power generating of the grid company, how much do they have to pay? And suppose I want to, if there is a breakdown somewhere, who is going to pay for the breakdown? If I'm going to upgrade the system, who is going to pay for that? So allocation of those costs between the utility and the consumer still remain a challenge for widespread development of this concept. So a new and revised metering and billing scheme used by the use of smart meters can be used or can be utilized for better understanding of the cost sharing process. Market integration, that means how open are we? As we know these days, even these days, the power generation, transmission, distribution in India, they are mostly controlled by state-owned means government companies or very few private companies. Like in our state, we have CSC as a private, and then State Electricity Board as the government company. So the competition is quite low. So unless the competition is allowed to go to a good extent, the cost factor is not going to go down. So a liberal, competitive electricity market may promote investments in the renewable energy. So, but most electricity markets are highly controlled either by government bodies or by a few major companies. This so far has discouraged the integration process. Grid, when the price is high, in that way they can make some money, and when the price is low, they can take power from the grid. So a dynamic pricing mechanism along with the use of smart energy meter can give a benefit to the consumer in terms of their financial status, financial viability. And then liberalization of the electricity market, more competitors, if the policymakers can allow to come into the picture of renewable energy and smart grid, that will invite more competition and investment. So the whole power scenario is going to be benefited. So taxation policies can be, if they can be relaxed by the policymakers on this renewable energy system, that will invite more investments. Distribution of cost between the consumer and the generating station or the grid person. So who will pay for the upgradation cost and the component cost if it's transparent? Then more and more distributed generation people, means like us, consumers, can move into the integration process. Then I'll be more interested if I know how much I have to pay or how much I'm going to gain. Then this awareness about the use of renewable energy and its benefits when we move on to smart grid and in integration of renewable energy smart grid. So if that awareness can be spread among the consumers, be it domestic consumer, be it industrial consumers, the spreading of accurate information regarding renewable energy penetration and how and why consumers should be involved in it through mass media. If this can be done, then more and more consumers will take interest into the process. So the road ahead where we are looking towards in near future and the research avenues is talking about in this process of integration of renewable energy into smart grid. Now we are aware that renewable energy is undoubtedly the solution of the world's ever rising energy demand. So it's the energy of the future, not only energy in terms of environmental cost also. So renewable energy is going to play a big role in it. It's already playing, and in coming future, it's going to be bigger. So, as researchers, we can put in our efforts to produce or design and manufacture effective electronic interface. So, inverters, converters, control modules. So, that will improve the performance of the renewable energy sources when they are going to be connected to smart grids. So, efforts are required to develop more efficient and cost-effective electronic interfaces controlled by intelligent controllers to integrate renewable energy resources in the power grid. This is a big area of research, development of intelligent power electronic converters for integration of renewables in smart grid. When solar energy resources are introduced in the power system, the solar energy is very fast changing. So the inertia of the power system reduces. Coal-fired power plant, the generation level does not vary fast. It takes a lot of time for it to generate. And if we want to reduce the generation, it takes a lot of time also in conventional power plants. But if it's a solar power plant, so very quickly the source, the amount of generation can change. So that means reduction in the inertia of the power system. In power system terms, we call that stiffness, the power system. So that gives a big threat to the stability of the power system. So when we talk about integration of renewables in power systems, so a big point of concern is till how much depth I should allow the renewable energy sources to penetrate into the existing grid, because that will affect the stability. That may affect the stability of the system unless I have very fast controllers. So that's a very good area of research, simulation studies to start with, that integrating renewables in smart grid, how the stability of the main grid is going to get affected and how to avoid. So effective controller designs are a good job for the researchers. So effective controllers need to be designed to save the power system stability. And development of solar cell technology is definitely an ongoing process. So solar cells have energy conversion and heating problems. So their efficiency is very low. Solar power generating systems, solar PV cells, the heating problem is also there. So therefore, research work has to be carried out on how to upgrade the existing solar cell technology. And next area of research could be to upgrade the existing grid. Existing conventional grid need to be replaced with smart grid so as to accommodate the entry of renewable energy into the global energy scenario. So the whole upgradation process of existing grid into smart grid will require electrical engineers, instrumentation engineers, IT engineers, computer science engineers. All of them need to work together to make the grid smarter. And then last, but definitely not the least, I may have missed few points also. Not the least is the deployment of smart energy meters. So it's a big area also going on in research of development of smart energy meters, adding features to it, making it Wi-Fi based, net based, and prevention from cyber threats. these are few of the research areas available for us, our community, so that we can contribute towards the process of renewable energy integration into the smart grid. So I think I have finished my 1 hour. So I'd like to thank you, and
Thank you.
don't ask me tough technical questions, because I confessed at the beginning that I'm not an expert yet on this topic. We are in the process of building up the necessary research facilities. Yes, any easy
Yeah,
questions?
thank you, sir. But a lot of questions are there. I would request Kobalika Madam to read out the questions one by one. Madam, please. Hello.
Yes, madam. Lot of questions have come. Yes, madam. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes,
Sir, the
unfortunately,
first
you're audible.
question. Uh, thank you, sir. The first question which has come, it is
पावर चले गया हमारा.
when will India stop using coal resources, as many countries like Italy, France, England have already planned for phasing out coal by 2030?
When will India stop using coal? So we have to wait for the next Lok
Yes.
Sabha elections. Lok Sabha elections, when I'll become the Prime Minister, then only I can answer this question.
Okay, sir. Second question. Why in India only 3.22% of power is obtained from nuclear energy? Why nuclear energy is not used so much compared to other countries?
এটা আরো 5 বছর পরে when I become the এই আমার একটা ছবি দিতে পারতিস, they think I'm a politician, policy maker or what? I'm a poor teacher, poor researcher, have no control over the government policies. These are all government issues, government
Okay,
matters.
sir.
I can't answer.
Okay. What is the difference between smart grid and microgrid? What is the basic difference?
Yes, microgrid need not be smart. Microgrid is a small grid interconnection between few renewables in a local area, small area, and that's microgrid can be connected to the main grid if necessary. So in a small area, say in your locality or in your building, even in your building, if you want to integrate my devices with the rooftop solar that I've got in a big apartment, so that's called a microgrid, which may or may not be connected to the main grid. So by itself, it can communicate within itself. So smart grid need not be limited to microgrid. So a grid, be it microgrid or macro big grid, when incorporated with the smart devices and smart concepts like IT systems, controllers, sensors. So when all of them are integrated together, that becomes smart. So a microgrid is a small grid which need not be smart. It need not be a two-way flow of power, but a smart grid will have the features that I have mentioned. Yes. Next.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What are the future concepts to fight against the inconsistency of non-renewable energy?
Inconsistency of non-renewable energy.
Of non-renewable energy, yes.
বুঝতে পারলাম না প্রশ্নটা।
I'm going to the next
Inconsistency of
question.
non-renewable, হ্যাঁ সেই ভালো।
Yes. Okay. Next question is how protection of smart grid against fault are different from conventional grid's fault protection?
Oh, I can give you a first-hand experience. Whenever power goes in our area, we live in a area where unfortunately we still have electricity board being supplying power. So whenever there is a power outage, we have to wait for half an hour. Then my father will call the power company, the distribution office. Then they will realize there is a power outage. Then they will start a search party. So they will come in a Tata Sumo and search for where the fault is. And then they will start to repair. In between, we will spend 2 hours. So that's the process of fault finding in our distribution system. Absolutely no.
Okay.
So absolutely no way of smart combination or sensor. When you have a smart grid, there will be sensors. So though I have done, myself and Nobomita also have done a research on fault location systems. So I am sure those researches are still in IEEE or IIT papers, not been implemented. So smart grid proposes to implement those kind of smart sensors being added to the energy network, where the fault location and type of fault can be almost detected in real time. And restoration process can be faster. So that's the difference.
Please switch on your video, please.
Even if I switch on the video, you can't see me because I don't have power right now. It's all dark in my room.
Okay.
If you want to see me, then I have to go outside in my roof or in my balcony. Then only you'll be able to see me because it's a load shedding.
Okay.
And I don't have renewable energy source.
Okay, sir.
Okay, madam, next question, please.
What changes will be needed in distribution sector for bidirectional power flow in smart grid?
Changes means first we need to have the secondary source of energy, means distributed generation. I need to install solar panels and windmills, if possible, in my backyard. That will be the second source of energy. And then we need to install interfacing devices which will connect my renewable energy solar system with the smart grid, because my renewable energy source are not of adequate voltage and frequency to be connected to the grid. Then I will need a controlling device which will control the flow of power. So when the power, my demand is high, my energy generation is not sufficient, I'll draw power from the grid. And when I have less consumption and my generation is more, I can give power to the grid. Those kind of controller interfacing devices I will need. And I will need a smart energy meter which will detect, communicate, and will have the information of how much power I am drawing from the grid and how much power I am feeding back to the grid, so that the final energy billing can be made. So those are the devices that I will need. Next.
Okay, sir. Next, what is the main advantage of smart grid?
There were two slides, benefits of smart grid. In summary, if I tell that the smart grid will provide us the provision for integrating renewable energies with coal, oil or natural gas, we cannot sustain for long. We need renewable energy to be included in the system, and for including renewable energy in the power system, I need smart grids, because renewable energy are at different voltage, different level, and they are very unpredictable. So to take care of all these challenges, I need the grid to be very smart. Unless the grid is smart, there will be big problem in stability of the grid. There will be big problem in efficiency, reliability of the grid. So all those, if I want to make stable grid along with renewable energy, I need it to be smart. In smart, by smart, I mean it need to be very fast acting, enabling both way flow, reliable, self-diagnostic type, working in real time. So those are the features of smart grid, which is a feature. Yes, there are a couple of slides back. There was, I listed the benefits of smart